It says we are live.
Hi, Dean. How you doing? It's good to see you again, Dean. Hi, guys. Sit down.
And today we're going to go hi, guys, a little bit later. Because it has something to do with what's happening all over the place. I guess this is hitting the internet by storm, right? Everybody's talking about this. Share screen. And if you go to, I went to InfoWars. Tim Pool crashes out over degenerate C word over Candace Owens after she drags him into Charlie Kirk's assassination theories. And he just loses it. So everybody seems to be attacking everyone. And on this one, it's really interesting because Tim Pool, Candace Owens, seem to not like TPUSA, love Charlie Kirk, but are going DEFCON 5, World War III. But we're going to bring in the Jehovah's Witness cult experience and talk about the similarities and what to look out for. So have you been noticing, Jesse, how this, or Geronimo, how this has been all over the place?
Yeah. And I don't mean to, because you always say, don't like me and don't subscribe. Remember, you always say that? Mm-hmm. So I don't mean to throw any flowers at you or anything, but do you think maybe you were right? Remember, you're always talking about it in the past that in our religion, we're all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but there's always this group of elite that they get the hundreds of thousands of views. They get the tens of thousands of views. For example, our Kingdom Hall is just right down maybe a mile or half a mile from my house. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on in there, but you have some ex-witnesses that know what's happening at headquarters. Mm-hmm. They have all the insider information. And so for years, you've been saying, how come some witnesses, they get hundreds of thousands of views, ex-witness apostate, they don't do any better content, but they have the greatest insider information.
In 4K.
And so you are always speculating that maybe what?
Well, when you get it in 4K high definition, download video clips from Watchtower, maybe, you go to the bathhouses or to the woods with some of those guys.
See, I wouldn't say that. That's you, because you got a sick, perverted mind as the governing body. But mm-hmm. I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness. I try to leave that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I know because you're the governing body member, they suck you back in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you think about the sick, perverted. I'm mm-hmm. just thinking that that maybe I have a different. I go from the political angle. And I think maybe they're double agents. So in a way, maybe I'm more perverted. So maybe I think that people are serving as a double agent. In other words, they've been placed there as content creators and influencers by the deep state or the deep religion. And so those are the two angles we're going to come by. You're thinking that maybe they're in bed with them, they're in league with them. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they work for them. But it's pretty much the same thing, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Tim, I don't know much about it, but I think a lot of the fight has to do with Charlie Kirk is what's going on, huh? And so since he's dead, why are they fighting over?
Well, because he's dead, there's more questions than there are answers. Like, I'll give you an example. Why is Charlie Kirk's chief of staff right next to Charlie Kirk? Candace Owens is bringing this out. And Charlie Kirk gets shot. He doesn't have enough chance to hit the ground yet. Charlie Kirk is nanoseconds away from hitting the ground. And his chief of staff turns around, nonchalantly walks away. While other people are trying to give first aid to Charlie Kirk, there seems to be an odd coincidence that there's 3 men over his body, and none of them have blood on their hands. So there's what the point I'm trying to say is that there's more questions than there are answers, like drones flying, I just, stuff like that. Then the latest thing that Candace is uncovering is that, and others are, the Israel connection. Like, why is it that people that in Google, people are searching for certain names, addresses where the alleged gun was found, all kinds of things. But all of these searches, the coroners, the doctors and the coroners, all of these different, the hospital and so forth, no one is searching for those things in the United States. But for some odd reason, in Israel, people, there's these searches that are popping up. And then to make matters worse, Google erases, so you can't, so now the average person can't go in there and do those searches. So all of these questions are coming up, like the JFK assassination. And all of these people that are allegedly on the same team are now killing each other. So you would think that these people are on the same team. They have a lot of questions. We like Charlie Kirk, our friend, Alex Jones and others. They're asking questions and bringing receipts with their questions. But now it seems to be like everyone is eating each other up alive. Cannibalism.
Yeah, like MTG. Mm-hmm. She wants to get to the pedo island, Epstein Island. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what Republican she destroys. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I think she's even divorced, huh? I mean, that happens to a lot of these women, these powerful women. They go to Washington or the state capitol and then they get divorced. So they have this, you know what? And I always said that there's this disease in the Republican and the conservative movement, and maybe in the MAGA movement. And do you remember when you were in the first grade, and you talked about it a lot when you were in second, third grade, when we were kids, there was this part of the report card. That was my favorite part. And mom and dad always read that. It says, this child does not play well with others. Remember, that was a big part of the report card? Mm-hmm. We had mathematics, learning skills, reading skills, comprehension. But one of the big things up on the top, one of the big ledgers was how a child interacted with all the other children. This child does not play well with others. And something I notice about these influencers, they don't play well with others. Like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all of them. Mm-hmm. A good Piers Morgan, this Nick Fuentes, a lot of them, they could be said they don't play well with others. Now, let me in the conservative movement, conservative ideology, let's go back a generation or two. Would you say that about Paul Harvey?
No.
Would you say that about Thomas Sowell?
No.
Would you say that about Rush Limbaugh? Would you say that about Clarence Thomas? Would you say that about Ronald Reagan or Barry Goldwater? In the conservative movement of yesterday, of just previous couple, because Rush Limbaugh just died a couple years back. Mm-hmm. Just previous to this, before these 27-year-olds are taking control of everything, we didn't have this. These children do not play well with others. We were taught to work with each other. Mm-hmm. And we all had different ideas and espoused different beliefs, but we all worked within the confines of working well with others. These young people now vying to get to the top, they're like, they're like these animals in a bowl that don't know how to make a ladder and get out. They kill each other when they want to get to the top. Mm-hmm. They do not play well with others. And that's why I say, why don't they play well with others? And it goes back to my original idea. Maybe they're plants of the deep state. Maybe they're the plants of Google, or maybe they're the plants of YouTube, or maybe they're the plants of the higher ups.
Correct. And we're going to watch this video, and everyone is entering into the fight. And then we're going to throw the religious element and how our experience as Jehovah's Witnesses kind of give us a little bit of insight that these people don't have. Now, we're the stupid ones. They're the smart ones. They got the millions of views. That's fine. But let's just look at this video. It's on PBD. And here we go. This is the sexual element.
Milo said, I've been doing this for 15 years. Nobody's ever sued me because I have receipts. And then, Rob, if you want to show that, is this it?
Sexual overtones. Benny Johnson, posts pictures of his children every 2 days. It's weird. And everybody knows what went on with Benny Johnson in those lobbies and in those hotel rooms at SAS. Everybody knows.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Men, younger men, not underage. At least I don't know that. His wife was crying drunk in the lobby 3 SASs in a row about how her husband was upstairs with boys.
In action.
But go ask her.
Come on.
Go ask her.
Come on, Milo.
Go ask her.
Milo, aren't you ever scared of getting sued? You say some crazy. I'm sitting here like I am humbled by the Lord.
Wow.
And you're
George Santos is like, you're a liar.
There's no teapots in this room right now to express how I feel.
George, I have said these things about people for 20 years and never once in my career been sued. I've issued 3 corrections in my entire journalistic career because I get my facts right. And people know that they do not want to go through discovery.
Actually, I want to say this.
I've never been sued for anything I've ever said about anyone.
The one thing I need to say this.
Because I'm right.
The most terrifying thing about Milo is that he knows all your secrets.
Oh no, he knows everybody's lore. Trust me. I am terrified of Milo.
So Benny John said, Rob, can you show Benny tweeted, and Benny said, like, I have no choice, basically, and he has to go after him. Can you find that one, Robbie?
Yeah.
I think he said it. It was very recent.
Tweets a lot. Hang on.
Yeah, geez, he's out there.
Here it is.
Yeah. I'm duty bound to take action to protect my family against those who maliciously defame and attack us. More to come soon. Pray for the healing for some of these really sick, delusional people. Jesus is about redemption. The legal system is about justice. Happy Sunday. Did you see Milo's response? Milo responded to this, and it was
the comment section to see if there's maybe anything there that Milo maybe commented about.
Don't pray for your enemies. Lord Loomis saying, pray for your enemies to be destroyed and celebrate when they struggle. We don't have time for compassion for evil people. Break them down and conquer them with psychological.
Laura Loomis says no. Don't pray for your enemies. Destroy.
We're friends. Beg for mercy. Don't pray for them. Yeah, Milo's. I think I put it in our group chat.
Wait,
That's what Milo said, and it was Milo's
Just go
basically.
to Milo's account, see what Milo's saying. Maybe you'll find
Hey,
something.
before
Hold on,
No, we're not gonna read all of
It's a
it.
shorter
Yeah,
version.
exactly. He basically
So
says
Milo
to him and his wife.
responds.
I know more about that.
And that's a good point, but that was the point. He does a manifesto, but the point is, now we have the sexual element, and this is the part in the religious thing that people forget. And I learned this very young and from a guy named Pete. God rest his soul. He was a homosexual prostitute, and he was he was a Catholic though too at heart,
and he was our family.
Yeah, he was in our family, and he tried to clean up his life the last decade of his life. But here's the point: he was a male prostitute, and he used to say, I used to F the judges, the lawyers, the priest, the sheriff, everybody at the parties while they're doing cocaine on the table, and he's banging them, and he was paid to have sex with them, and he would be paid to fly on airplanes. But the thing is that it was a hidden secret. You couldn't talk. You could not, like in Jerry Seinfeld, remember, you couldn't name names. You could never name names. And now what you have is you have Milo, who's a conservative, right? Supposedly conservative, who's been celibate for 5 years, found Jesus, and he's getting ready to name names. And so now the accusations are that Charlie Kirk was gay, or his wife was cheating on him, or his wife was involved in child sex trafficking via the mom. And the list goes on, all of these accusations. And all I'm saying is that this is so dirty that I don't know why people would want to enter into this arena with a 10-foot pole. But the lessons to be learned here on the religious level is this. Growing up a Jehovah's Witness elder, we learned that we saw an elder, a publisher, a kid who is nobody in the Jehovah's Witness religion. He does one bad thing, like look at a Playboy or whatever, something bad. Holy hell would come upon that guy. Jesus talks about this, that they would strain the camel, gulp the camel, strain the gnat. So they would go and move heaven on earth to disfellowship a young 16-year-old boy for masturbating too much, as Jehovah's Witnesses. But then in our congregation, in Yuma, Arizona, you have a guy who has a history of sleeping around with married women, goes and sleeps around with a married woman who leads to a divorce, who leads to suicide, right? The girl commits suicide in a foreign country, down in Mexico where we live. And he gets a promotion to Bethel. He's now a Bethelite, gets a promotion, gets welcome home parties, welcome back to Yuma, for 3-4 weeks, hang out with us. We'll throw you a party. Meanwhile, the ex Jehovah's Witness chick that he banged is 6 feet underneath the ground. And this is exactly what Jesus talked about, how you gulp the camel, right, and you strain the gnat. And this is what's happening right now in this arena. The homosexuals are coming into play now, and they want to name names. And all I'm saying is that on the title it says, "Are Tim Pool and Candace Owens, are they the deep state? They never get disfellowshipped." Having grown up in a cult religion, we find out that the people that are honest, sincere, that really love God, they get disfellowshipped. They get persecuted. They get everything. But everybody else gets a promotion.
Or you step down because you know you're not worthy of that position. And so you have the modesty to say, you know what, I'm a sinner, I'm an alcoholic. Like, how many elders do you know that are alcoholics?
About half of them.
Okay, so a little bit of modesty would say, you know what, what did Jesus say? You know, let go and make peace, and then take your sacrifice to the temple. That's all. That's all. A little modesty. But the position is so important. And what happens is then they have to defend it.
Yeah. Now I want to do one video and then I'll give you the floor. Here we're talking about the comment that Tim Pool made. I think Geronimo's going to come right back. I'm going to show you guys this clip and share screen. This guy, they were trying to make him lose his whole broadcasting network.
What does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke, who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex? What does that make her? It makes her a slut, right? Makes her a prostitute. She wants to be paid to have sex.
His comments led to an advertising boycott, which Cumulus CEO Lou Dickey said hit his 40 radio stations hard. The New York.
Yeah, but Rush Limbaugh knew that you have to fight back and you have to keep fighting, and he won. But isn't it interesting that there's something to learn here about the Rush Limbaugh? Whether you love him or hate him, the fact that he called a woman a slut by using her own words. She's wanting to get paid to have sex. She wants the government to pay her to have sex. And so Rush Limbaugh just pointed out the obvious, and he reached holy hell. And what's happening today, Jesse? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Let's dissect it a little bit. Dissect it. You're right. But you know what? This was a clash of civilizations and a clash of generations. And we're having that with the Nick Fuentes, the Tim Pools. We're old guys. We're in our 50s. Those guys in their 20s and 30s, and our children too. And they're influencing our children. Mm-hmm. Very important. But in Rush Limbaugh, it wasn't just that he called her a slut. He started losing a lot of business, and he fought back and he held his guns. But modesty and pragmatism and a little bit of humility kicked in, and he apologized. Mm-hmm. Because maybe somebody, I don't know who it was. I don't know what happened in the backstory. But I listened to Rush Limbaugh all my life, from the 80s all the way till he died. And one of the things I did notice is that he was truly repentant, that he had called a young American girl, Christian girl, American girl, a slut. Mm-hmm. And so somebody went to, hey, Rush, you know what? That was no matter what, you're a 50 or 60-year-old man. Mm-hmm. You're calling a college girl a slut. Do you understand that that is wrong? That is wrong. And so he lost a lot of business, a lot of money. But in his heart, he knew he was wrong. You just don't do that in a civilized society in our age. But go fast forward to today. And Tim Pool, look at this young man named Tim Pool, what he calls Candace Owens. And nothing, I guarantee you, nothing is going to happen to him like happened to Rush Limbaugh. So are we seeing a generation? Now we're going to get into conspiracy theories. Are we seeing a generational divide where in our generation, you couldn't call a woman a slut, much less the C word. But this gentleman is going to get away with it. And Candace Owens, look at, she's a black African-American woman. You're not supposed to be able to touch an African-American woman.
Okay, so this is where we got to stop, because people don't understand what we're trying to say here. because a lot of them are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, so they're very slow. You know, they used to go door to door preaching. It's very simple. You have a white guy calling a black girl the C word. And then not only that, he calls her effing evil scumbag and a degenerate C word. But here's the whole point, is that having grown up in a religion, in a cult, why is it that certain elders, circuit overseers, Bethelites, governing body members can get away with talking this way, but others can't? And it makes you wonder if what George Carlin was saying, that it's one big club and we're not in it. So Rush Limbaugh wasn't in the club, and he had to fight his way to keep his broadcasting network. But this guy isn't going to have to fight like Rush Limbaugh. So why? That's the question I'm asking. Is I'm not trying to pick a side over one or the other. Is why are these people not being getting the same?
I think I have an answer.
Go ahead.
You and I were from a generation when Lynn Anderson said, "I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden." And that is the foundation upon which we were brought up in the popular culture. I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden. And that's the thing about people on the conservative side. You're going to be like Rush Limbaugh. You're going to pay a price. Ronald Reagan, Iran-Contra, you're going to pay a price. But here we see Tim Pool not paying a price. A few seconds ago, you were seeing George Santos. He went to prison. Mm-hmm. But look at Ilhan Omar. Look at Ilhan Omar, for example. They said she went in there with $65,000, and now she's worth $30 million on a U.S. representative salary. Think about that. Name me an American businessman. Like, I've been in business all my life. How am I going to get $30 million? You get any American who works his butt off. How are you going to get into the 401k? You know how many times I've lost my 401k in my business? Mm-hmm. I've lost this is my third 401k. I've already lost it twice. Mm-hmm. I lost it in 911. I had to use it to keep my business afloat. And then I lost it in the 2008 housing crisis. I had to use it again to keep my business afloat. I don't have 30 million. How does a woman like that get 30 million? And how come George Santos goes to jail and she doesn't? So you have to ask yourself, are they in the club and we're not in it? Like Ilhan Omar, she's in the club. She can get away with murder. Nobody will ever, she's untouchable. Mm-hmm. George Santos wasn't. Tim Pool could get away with calling her the C word. Rush Limbaugh couldn't.
And if, let's say I were to call a black Jehovah's Witness woman the C word, degenerate C word, you think I might catch holy hell and get deplatformed?
Yes. So look, I was deplatformed maybe 15 years ago when I quoted a Kennedy speech and a Ronald Reagan speech. Mm-hmm. And you know you're not in the club when all the time you get deplatformed. You get no run whatsoever on your videos. Anybody makes a Jehovah's Witness video right now, they'll get 7,000 views. You're lucky if you get 100 views. What is it? Is it because we're ugly, fat, Mexican? Our content is no good? Yeah, that's a little bit of it. Maybe my volume is not very good. Maybe my content is not real good. But a little bit has to do, maybe, are these influencers being chosen? Are they being put in place by the deep state? Look at Jimmy Bell and Ruby Quinn. They make excellent content. But they only get 100, 200, 300 views.
So this is what I'm trying to tell people is this right here. Jesus talked about this. He said, therefore, and it's the New World, this is King James, but the New World says, therefore take heed how you listen. Pay attention how you listen is the Jehovah's Witness Bible. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and whoever does not have, even what he seems to have will be taken from him. But that's the whole point. Pay attention to how you listen, or take heed to how you hear. What I'm trying to say here is I'm not picking a side with any group, or Candace Owens. I'm saying there's something bigger at play here. When Mayo Mihalopoulos is calling out another conservative dude and calling him, gay, And then the guy's saying, well, I'm going to sue. He didn't say he's going to sue him, but kind of like threatened him. And he's like, bring it on. And what it is they're trying to bring you in to the black hole. They're trying to bring you into this fight. And
see, I don't agree with you. I think it's worse than that. I think it's even worse. I really think they're secret agents of communism, maybe of China.
They're trying, but how do they do it? They have to bring you in. They have to suck you in.
Yes. But I don't think they're influencers. I think they're I'm not saying, I think a lot of influencers are put in place by Venezuela, Maduro. Look, if we lie to you about our space program, you don't think we're going to lie to you when we're influencing you? Wasn't Satan the first influencer? Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, I don't trust these influencers. They don't work well with others.
Because time is short, let's talk about the influencer that right now, one of the biggest ones is Nick Fuentes. So people are coming to find out, because, independent journalists are coming to find out that he's still very popular. But a good portion of his views come from other countries through bots. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a big following. It just means that it's made to look even more. It's kind of like in New York City where you have like everybody in your family go to your business and they make it pretend that it's busy. And so then when the tourists come in, they think, oh, this is a busy shop. And then it brings them in.
Why?
No, go ahead.
Because after the fall of the Third Reich, did all the Germans just die?
No.
Where did they all go?
Yeah.
What happened to all the Nazis? Did they all die? Did they all get shot? Did they all go to Nuremberg? Mm-mm. They were dispersed throughout the land like cockroaches. So there's a lot of Nazi propaganda all over the world. The rest of us, the victors, they infiltrated our neighborhoods, our churches, everything all over, from Argentina all the way to Canada. Mm-hmm. There's Nazis all over the damn place. They infiltrated NASA. Go look it up. They're everywhere. They're like Visa. They're everywhere. So every once in a while, there's this undertone. And now with this young generation that listens, their ears get pricked when you hear somebody say that Hitler is cool. No, our generation and the ones previous to us and our grandfathers who actually had to fight the Nazis, they don't see nothing redeemable in Nazism. Nothing. It's not a joking matter. And this Nick Fuentes is not of our type. Now, he's an influencer, but there's nothing redeemable about Adolf Hitler. But one day you're going to find out, your children are going to come to dinner and they're going to tell you that Hitler is cool. Mm-hmm. Then that's when you'll see that the poison has hit your home.
Mm-hmm. So then you have to ask yourself, when you have all of these big platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and you have a guy who's talking good about Adolf Hitler, and you don't seem to say, hey, we got to draw the line somewhere. And we're not saying free speech, but just because you have free speech doesn't mean you get to speak in my front yard. You can't come into my house and speak. That's not free speech. Free speech is you can speak outside in the street corner. So why do big corporations allow Hitler-loving people and welcome? Come on in with
Why are some people censored? Like Nick Fuentes, why is he allowed to speak and they go, well, this is freedom of speech. We have the First Amendment right to free speech. Wait, hold on a second. Where were you when Rush Limbaugh was being censored? Mm-hmm. Where were you when we were being censored? Where were you when Ronald Reagan had to say, Mr. Speaker, I paid for this microphone? Where were you then?
Or when Alex Jones was kicked off of YouTube, then they put him back on a couple of months ago, and then one day later they kicked him out.
Exactly. But they get their genitals all in a flux over Nick Fuentes. Mm-hmm. But the last 100 years, they haven't been nowhere in the battle. Mm-hmm. It's like Glenn Beck. Oh, Donald Trump. Where was he in the first election? They're latecomers, late to the game. These are people who don't work well with others. They can't see freedom and go to freedom. Yeah, they can't define the battlefield. And that's why I'm saying we're defining the battlefield here with these young people. There's nothing redeemable about Adolf Hitler. Nothing.
So that leads some people to think that he works for the Fed, or he works for some agency or some foreign. So do people like these people Nick Fuentes, Jesus says, pay attention to how you listen. You know, we're listening to these people, and it's very clear that they're trying to bring us into their fight. And I'm saying, don't go in that fight.
No. And our generation wasn't like that. For example, look in the 1980 campaign, the 1976 with Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan. And I could go back all the way to Abraham Lincoln, and we could go back to Thomas Jefferson. But just for what we saw with our own eyes, when Ronald Reagan was battling with George H.W. Bush for the 1980 presidential candidacy of the GOP, it was a bitter fight. Remember, Bush even called Reagan voodoo economics. Remember supply side economics? Bush was saying voodoo economics. It was even in songs, voodoo economics. And what happened after that? They came together and they made that ticket that was very successful. That had the landslide in '84. That only Minnesota was the only state that went blue that year. So what I'm saying is the Republicans knew how to fight without calling themselves the C word. I mean, Tim Pool and Candace Owens are going spots where these two are going to throw down.
And they're bringing everybody in. They're bringing
everybody else down. Look, we just lost Miami. We just lost Miami tonight. Miami, the first time in 30 years, went to a Democrat mayor. And so it's very possible that these influencers are being paid by the Venezuelans because they're going to lose the machines. They're going to lose the machines. That's what they're trying to get the audit. That's what all the stuff, the wars are all about. They've been messing with the electoral system so much. So what they want to do is create chaos in the MAGA movement, in the conservative Republican movement. And so far it's showing fruit. In New York, look what happened in New York. Look what happened in New Jersey. And tonight, look what happened in Miami. A Democrat won Miami. A Democrat should not win Miami.
Mm-hmm. So when you add Candace Owens, Tim Pool, Milo, the PBD thing, I'm not knocking PBD or anything. You got all of these, but all of these people, it is creating a division in the Republican Party. And so you have to ask yourself, who in this party, who in these group of people are agents, are deep state? And my whole thing going back to the title is the ones that never get disfellowshipped. This is how we know we have experience as Jehovah's Witness when a young boy and girl get disfellowshipped, right, for masturbating, right? But an older man gets a promotion to Bethel, to the headquarters of the religion, after he does the most disgusting things. And then, like in our case, right, the guy comes back to Yuma with a welcome party after what he did on multiple occasions with multiple families, destroyed multiple marriages. So that's how you know who's in the deep state, the ones that don't get disfellowshipped. And that's what I'm trying to say is Nick Fuentes doesn't get disfellowship for calling Black people the N-word. Tim Pool doesn't get disfellowship for calling a Black woman the most. So you have. Does that prove that they're in the deep state? No, but it does make you wonder.
I've always hated the argument about Zionism and Jewish. Mm-hmm. And you and I, we always come from the idea, the American idea, that the first one who say the word Jewish loses. We hated it, because a lot of times being a Mexican American, we're always of the opinion that, hey, drop the Mexican part. We're American. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Jewish. The first time that word comes out, people are going to throw down. And that's the problem with in the Republican Party. Look how it works with Judaism in the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. In the Republican and the conservative movement, you bring Jews in the question, and everybody's killing each other. Whether you're Zionist or you're Zelensky or you're pro-Putin or you're anti-Semitic, it just divides everybody. It's almost like it's a issue to divide the conservative movement.
Yeah,
take that to the Democrat Party. You have Chuck Schumer, Jew, holding sweet, sweaty palm sex love with Ilhan Omar. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense. The Jews and the Arabs are together in unity in the Democrat Party. But you just bring up that word in the conservative movement, and you have Poole and everybody calling themselves C words.
So what's happening? No, what's happening is this. I'll tell you what's happening. This is allegedly Tim Pool allegedly had a private meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel, the Jews is equivalent to Jehovah. Once you bring Jehovah into a marriage, once you bring Jehovah into an argument, once you bring Jehovah into anything, it's going to turn to shit. I'm sorry. Just look at it. Every time people bring in Jehovah, it just everything.
Now, guess what?
It does.
You and I saw that with our eyes.
With our
but
eyes.
The world hasn't seen it. We as Jehovah's Witnesses seen it with our own eyes.
Right. And so what does Jehovah do? He does the same thing Benjamin Netanyahu, the Jews, and the CIA, everybody else. They have a dossier on people. And then you have Milo Yiannopoulos, Jew, who is like a alcoholic, but he's a sexaholic who's on 5 years not having sex, and he's like an apostate. He can't do it anymore, and he wants to name names. So going back to this statement here, I don't know if it's true, but what we do know is that people are compromised. So that's why it's very important to pay attention to how you listen, because in this Tim Pool, Candace Owens, there's a lot of people that are compromised. And that's what the experience we have as Jehovah's Witnesses. Why is it that certain elders shut up? They're compromised and they want to keep their job. But you have other ones that get drunk and they leave because they saw too much. And that's what you saw in that video earlier that we played with Milo. He saw too much. And he said in an interview, I think it was a Tucker Carlson, that he woke up one morning and he saw his husband in the bed. They were sleeping, and he said, "I don't want to go to hell. I saw hell. I don't want to go to hell." And he became a born again Christian. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that that's like an apostate, a Jehovah's Witness apostate. He has to leave, and in leaving, what you saw is the naming of names. And he's like, I don't, and he's like, he's accusing Benny Johnson of being compromised. He says, no, Benny, we know. I was at the hotel. I was with the guys that effed you, and go ahead and sue me. I got the receipts. And these are the arguments that they're bringing out. But what I'm trying to say is this is the Jehovah's Witness thing. Everyone is compromised. And you have a group of people in this fight that are like Jehovah's Witness apostates. They saw too much. They can't keep quiet. And unfortunately, people are naming names. And it's the naming of names that is causing World War III. That's why that Bible text that I put down, pay attention to how you listen. And the other thing where Tim Pool messed up is the first person to lose his cool is the one that everyone thinks he must be guilty. I'm not saying Tim Pool is guilty. I'm not saying that but when you lose your cool.
Well, see, that's my whole point. That's my whole point right there. Like whether Tim Pool is right or wrong, he might be right. But the words he chose to put a young African-American woman before Tim Pool, like BC, before Christ, before Tim Pool, you were not allowed to go public and call a woman a C word like that. He crossed the line of decency. He should be deplatformed. So what I'm saying is people were deplatformed all over for saying the word ivermectin. During COVID, if you said hydroxychloroquine, you were going to be deplatformed. But Tim Pool is calling people the C word, a woman.
Black woman.
And there's no call to deplatform. Before that, he should have just apologized. In the great tradition of conservative movement, of Republican movement, conservative people, he should just apologize. Say, you know what? I erred. And the American people are a very forgiving people. Look at Bill Clinton, for example. In fact, I did have sex with that woman. And he was forgiven. And you know what? Whatever happened over there, Bill Clinton is seen in the United States, outside of the Epstein thing, but I'm seeing people talk about him pretty favorably. And he did apologize. Nixon apologized. Everybody apologizes. The only people that don't apologize, I think, they're the ones like Barack Obama called the bitter clingers. Yeah, so I think if Tim Pool, He should apologize for that.
Correct.
He did cross the line.
But all I'm saying is that in this Tim Pool, Candace Owens, and now we have another person, the Shapiros, all of these people. Who is part of the deep state? And there has to be. Who is? It's the ones that never get disfellowship. The ones that never get disfellowship always get are in on it. They know it's a lie. They're in on the. And this is what I'm saying. We saw it with our own eyes as Jehovah's Witnesses. Now you're seeing it on a grander scale.
And here's another thing that young people don't understand. The Nick Fuentes and I would say my children or grandchildren, they don't understand. They don't respect their elders. They have this thing, and I talked about Lynn Anderson, the foundation upon which I was born, country music, American music, back in the 60s and 70s. I'm sorry, I didn't promise you a rose garden. You have all these people that they think that they have free speech. We don't have free speech. Remember in the Twilight Zone where that guy, he was up in heaven? He was up in heaven and he was always winning. And he tells the angel, hey, what are we going to do today? I goes, I don't know. He goes, hey, can we try hell? I'm tired of heaven. I'm always winning. I want a little bit of action. He goes, oh, what? Who told you were in heaven? Remember, he was really in hell and he scared the hell out of him. Who told these people you got free speech? There's no such thing as free speech. Every generation has had to fight to be free. Every generation has had to sacrifice to be free. Even God had to pay for free. In order for Jesus to free us, God had to pay with the life of his son. And us mortals think we're going to have free speech? No. Tim Pool called her a C word. He exercised his free speech. Now he has to pay. Even God had to pay. Who are we mortals to think that we could speak and not speak and pay? Mm-hmm. The word is alive. And it cuts. Mm-hmm. And he cut. He disgraced the conservative movement. He's a disgrace the way he talked about that about a woman. There was other ways he could have said it.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. So, but yeah, and the angle that I was just going back was they never get disfellowship. That's very telling. That's very telling, and what you're seeing here. And if you want to pick a side, you're who does he have to pay, Jesse? You pay. There's a lot of ways you pay.
See, that's the thing. He has to pay. There's going to be a consequence. What is the wages of sin or death? Yeah. He's going to pay either now or not. When Rush Limbaugh called that girl a slut in the video that you played, he had to pay. He was contrite, and he paid, and his reputation took a hit. Okay, let's play the devil's advocate with Julian Watson. He wants to be smart ass and think that you don't have to pay. We don't have to pay. We got free speech. Okay, I'll tell you who's going to pay. You know what? When you get your food stamps, who pays the tax? Who pays it? The taxpayer. Mm-hmm. When Tim Pool calls somebody a C word, who's going to pay? Us, the conservative movement, is going to pay. When MTG throws a fit, who pays? The Republicans in Miami paid. Mm-hmm. There's always pay. We always pay. Just some other people pick up the tab for other people because some people are low lives. They think that they could spew things and it's going to be without consequence. No, Tim Pool's got to pay. If he doesn't pay the tab, the taxpayer is going to have to pay for it.
And if he doesn't pay the tab, then somebody above him paid it. And that's why he didn't get disfellowshipped, because somebody above him is covering for him, but somebody's paying. Now, hey, Jesse, so it's pretty much, I think we should go. It's 43 minutes. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, I want to do a new show, and I have a guest here, and I'll just give you a sample of it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Yeah. So we're going to see, we'll have a game. We'll play a game, the first ever. That's Pagan, The End, Pornea, Babylon the Great, and Pioneering.
Can I try one?
And yeah, why don't you try one?
Okay, Alex, I'll take That's Pagan for 100.
Okay. A common recurring pagan ritual observed every decade.
And does it go ding, 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 ding?
Yeah, ding. Go ahead, yeah.
A common recurring pagan ritual observed every decade. What is hemorrhoids? High school reunions. Oh man, that's a.
So you got minus 100. So I'll let the chat go for pornea for 100. Petting over clothes. Does anybody have an answer? What is petting over clothes?
What is a disfellowshipping offense?
Okay, well, let's hold on. What is safe sex?
Jehovah safe sex. Wow.
You're minus 200.
Wow. I'm losing this.
You're losing.
These are some hard questions.
Yeah. So let's go. Babylon.
Wait. Let me pick. Babylon the Great for 100. Oh my gosh.
The only bad word allowed in a kingdom hall, which is relevant to today's topic. The only bad word allowed in a kingdom hall.
Stupid? What is stupid? What is a whore? Wow.
Minus 300. So, did you want to do another one?
Yeah, 100. Pioneering. That's easy.
This is a favorite JW hangout.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
What is Starbucks?
Let's see. Spacebar. What is Starbucks?
I was going to say Pizza Hut.
All right.
But that was that. Yeah. Hey, one more. The end for 100.
It was the end. Then it was the beginning of the end.
It was the end. 1914. Then the last days.
No. Think about it. It was the end.
The end.
Then it was the beginning of the end.
Oh, what is 1914? Did I get out of my deficit?
No, you got 100. So.
Well, Shaq said it, so I copied him.
Okay, so we'll go for the winner. The end for 500. The stupidest thing ever said on JW Broadcasting.
Wow, this is hard. 500. Stupidest
thing ever said.
Oh my gosh. I won't know this one. This is just too many choices.
The stupidest thing ever said on JW Broadcasting.
Could it be the last day of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days?
What is the final part of the last days? Undoubtedly, the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days. We will give that to you, which puts you at $400.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So, what do you think about that?
Hey, it's a good game. But
yeah,
it's a good game. I was losing my shirt. 100, losing 100, losing 100.
Yeah.
Hey, those are some hard questions because there's just so like the stupidest thing ever out of JW Brown. Literally, they could have been about 50 things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like going up to somebody and go, hey, I'll give you $50 if you tell me what's in my mind. Gosh, that could be a million things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Overlapping apostates, yeah.
No, but I think everybody could agree that hands down is about the stupidest thing ever said. That has like hundreds of millions of views.
Right. Hey, Gilbert, I think you should honor the comment section because Julian Watson brings out a very good point, and it's not proper to overlook a great comment. And he said that Tim Pool is accusing Candace Owens of ruining the midterms. Now, I don't know if Julian is right or Tim Pool's right. I'm not going to argue that point because everybody's valid opinion and should be respected. That's a good point. But in essence, I would agree with that. There's a lot of people, for example, in Arizona, when Carrie Lake was running for senator, and she got beat by Ruben Gallegos. And when she was running for governor, she got beat by Katie Hobbs. Mm-hmm. She didn't lose. We all know she won. Mm-hmm. We saw the buses coming in to the with ballots. We saw with our own eyes. But there was a lot of Republicans that didn't like Carrie Lake.
Mhm.
There's like George Santos in that video you had. If he was on the Republican ticket, I would pull the lever for him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Even
but
though
there's a lot of Republicans that like to shoot their foot off to show you. You know what? They're like those little kids I was telling you in the first grade, in the report card. Your child does not play well with others. Remember, there was always this stupid kid who grabbed his football and goes, I hate you guys, and I'm going home. And I'm going to take my football with me. And he ruined the football game for all the kids.
Mhm.
All the new kids, like the 27-year-old kids and under that are coming into the conservative movement, they're all like that. They don't know how to play well with others.
Mhm.
Whether it's Tim Pool or Candace Owen, it's their way or the highway.
But-
I hear you. Look, go to your precinct, your Republican meeting precinct, go to the next meeting. You'll see people like that. They don't know how to say hello. They don't know they're angry because their country has been taken over. And so they want to take it out on everybody. There's no pragmatism. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of Tim Pools who know it all. There's a lot of Nick Fuentes who think Hitler is cool. They're everywhere. But that's why I keep bringing up the point. You have to work well with others.
But this is one of the problems that I've noticed with the Candace Owens thing. When Candace Owens is doing a better job in investigative reporting than Kash Patel, this is why the young people are pissed off. When Charlie Kirk's chief of staff turns around after hearing a gunshot, just turns around and walks away. Before Charlie Kirk's dead body hits the ground, he's already walking away. And then he walks not towards the ambulance, but in other video footages away. And then his dad is a pastor, and he's telling everybody in the church how he was there with Charlie, over his body. He was running away from the scene. So Candace Owens, a private citizen, is saying, hold on a minute. I'm looking at the footage here. Here's the footage. And where's Kash Patel? So this is what the argument that Julie...
Okay, can I answer you?
Go ahead.
Can I answer all you stupid people?
Okay, yeah.
Are you guys retarded? Do you guys think that history began the moment you were born? Do you think that in 1971, on your birthday, that's when history started?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you know that even Jesus had those three guys next to him?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you know that since the first caveman who came out of the swamps, the first cell probably betrayed him and gave him herpes simplex and he died? Don't you know that betrayal and backstabbing has been with us since the beginning of dawn? Don't you think that when Candace Owen goes to let's say Candace Owen, she knows everything right now. You send her to Washington. You know what she's going to do when you get hung up in some gulag by some Nazis?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to look away.
Mm-hmm.
There's a corrupting influence in Washington in politics. It's corruption at its worst. Mm-hmm. Even Jesus had a Judas, Gilbert. There's not one person on earth. There's not one person in the FBI. There's not one person. You said it yourself. We're all compromised. Mm-hmm. Why the hell do you want perfection in Washington when you don't even have perfection in your hometown, in your own neighborhood?
I know, but we're saying, okay, but you got to go back to this. And this is why people like Dick Fuentes and Julian Watson don't understand you. Let me help you. Just slow down. The evidence is so elementary that private citizens just looking at YouTube videos in slow motion are saying, hold on a minute. There was more than one shooter with JFK. And why is it, why is it? And this is what people are asking is like, hey, you're the FBI. How does Candace Owens have this information? That's frustrating. The American people are frustrated because not Alex Jones with his team of researchers, just average people are just doing average investigative work. And they're just saying. Because,
Gilbert, I'm going to say it again. And you say it to yourself. You say it all the time. God, thank you because you have what?
Yeah, you have hidden these things from the intellectuals and reveal them to the babes.
Yes. Listen, Gilbert, you know why Jesus, when he died, did you know his body did not see corruption? Because he's God. His body did not see corruption. Everything outside of God is corruption. Everything. All of the angels, there's corruption. Outside of God is corruption. That means decay. And in Washington, there's decay. And what she is witnessing, she's an eyewitness to the decay that is in our government. And it is her duty to make it right. There's not going to be an easy answer. There never was. We don't live in paradise earth. Candace Owens is going to have to bust her ass to get that evidence. Nobody gets a free ride. Nobody. It's like that guy in the Twilight Zone. What makes you think you're in heaven? You're in hell. Why do you think that they're going to listen to Candace Owens?
No, they're not. I mean, I understand that,
but here's the thing. There's got to be a little bit of pragmatism. Along with the sunshine, there's got to be a little bit of rain sometimes, the song says. The same thing. But look at all the things that Trump has stopped. Let's say we're in a baseball game and we gave up 10 runs, but we scored 12. Can't we see that we won the game? Or do you just dwell on the 10 runs? Yes, you could work on it. You go back to the clubhouse, you celebrate and go, hey, guys, that was a close call. We gave up 10 runs. What happened? Well, our pitching sucked. We weren't executing our defense. Let's go tomorrow and do better. But we did win the game. You got to be an eternal optimist. You can't be like those children who don't play well with others. There's people who get up in the morning and they're pissed off. And that's what our influencers of this generation are. They can't see all the victories we had. Did you know a couple of years ago, we couldn't even use the word ivermectin. A couple of years ago, there was people for January 6th in prison. People have forgotten all the pardons. They can't see all. You're an ungrateful people. We've had victory after victory after victory. And you know what? Donald Trump was right. You're even going to get tired of winning. And I'm going to say, no, we haven't won. There's too much winning. Let's win some more. And he was right. He was right. All these fuckers are tired of winning. No more winning. We're tired. And there's only one white boy in Washington who doesn't want to quit. You even sound like a quitter. Candace Owens sounds, Tim Pool. You guys are all quitters. There's only one winner in America. Only Donald Trump. He's the only one who doesn't quit. No wonder he's trying to fall asleep and fall off an airplane or whatever he's doing. Because he's surrounded by quitters.
Yeah, I don't think you're convincing anybody.
Huh?
I don't think you're convincing anybody because
I don't care. You're all quitters.
No, because Jesse, the arguments that people are making, and I'm not picking on anybody's side. When the evidence, like, you know, the dude has chocolate all over the kid has chocolate all over his mouth, his fingers. Somebody broke into the cookie jar. The evidence is overwhelming, and then the average American, Democrat, Republican youth. This is a problem that we have, and this is why these influencers are so popular. Is because the young people are seeing the overwhelming evidence, and they're pissed off that that promises made are not being kept, which they have been. I will agree with you, they have. And everybody right now. Alex,
Gilbert, if
Trump
farts, there
Alex,
will be a lawsuit against him.
saying, no, Alex Jones and Glenn Beck and everybody is saying, this is it. It's over. We've given you 1 year. We told you, Mr. President, you asked us for some time. We give Pam Bondi and Kash Patel 1 year. January is coming up. So what's happening right now in this movement, from what I see, is you have all of these political people are saying the year is up. You've made a promise, and people want to see the check cashed. And I think that's what's happening right now.
Because you're all losers.
Okay. Yeah, but we didn't write the check.
Huh?
We didn't write the check. Everybody has given Donald Trump 1 year.
No, he didn't. He got 4 years.
No,
and Will, you only got 2 years.
They gave him 1 year. Everybody did. At the beginning of the year with Kash Patel.
You know, let's say that's true. Let's say, okay, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you.
Some action.
I'll agree with you.
The reason why is because they didn't want to see a Jeff Sessions 2.0. So they gave everybody the 1 year.
Oh my God. You guys.
Go ahead.
Wow, you guys are living in a fantasy world. Do you think Washington, D.C. is heaven or nirvana? You can't even fart in that state with a Republican can't even fart in that state without there being some lawsuit. It's a miracle he's still alive. He took 2 bullets.
Who, Jeff Sessions?
No, Donald Trump.
Exactly. So this is what people are saying. He was screwed over by Judas Iscariot, Jeff Sessions, that wasted the Attorney General. What I'm trying to tell you is that the argument that's being made right now in the MAGA movement is that the 1 year is up because they do not want another.
It doesn't matter what MAGA wants. Do you understand? Let them start a campaign and run it. Look, he is more powerful than MAGA. There is no MAGA. MAGA took over the Republican Party, and the Republican Party is a cesspool. You got to work well with others to get things done, to move the agenda. Donald Trump cannot legislate. He's in the executive branch. They're even trying to take away the executive branch to the Supreme Court. If Donald Trump did what you guys want him to do, it would be seditious because he would have to go against the Supreme Court. Everything he's done, he's doing through the judicial.
All of the MAGA people.
He's the most faithful person to the executive and the judicial branch.
Everyone is saying that. And everyone is saying that the people that are working for him are
you have a little gratitude here.
No one is saying that. But Julian Watson is bringing out what these young people are thinking. Your son, your family, your daughter, they're thinking this.
What have they built? What have they built? Why don't they sit back and build something first?
You're kicking the can down the road is what they're saying. Your argument is you're kicking the can down the road. And what people are saying is that we don't want to see, again, Jeff Sessions 2.0. They gave Pam Bondi 1 year. If she can't do it, bring somebody in who can do the job. That's what they're saying. People are sick and tired of the can being kicked down the road. I'm not blaming Donald Trump, Jesse. I'm not blaming Donald Trump.
I know, but I think you guys are Pollyannas. I think you guys are idealistic people. I think you guys are opportunists. You guys are wishful thinkers. I don't know how else to say it. You go build an organization of billions and millions and millions and billions of dollars and get elected to become to the highest. You do the miracle that happened in 2024. There's no reason a Republican should have won in 2024 when he was going up against all those electronic voting machines.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, hey, you know what? If he drops the ball, give him the common courtesy to let him drop the ball. It's like a pitcher. He's paid his dues. He's worked with your organization for 19 years. This is his 20th, his goodbye year. Let him have the ball. If he gives a home run, let him give up a home run. But God damn it, he's earned it.
No one's saying he hasn't. No one is saying
you guys are all saying that. I'm giving him 1 year. Who are you to give somebody 1 year? He's the United States president. Under the Constitution, he has 4 years, unless you take him out like Nixon.
No, you're sticking to your argument and you're missing it. He only has.
I understand your argument. It's a Pollyanna argument. In the real world in Washington, that's not the way things work. You have to play deals in Washington.
Then if we follow your argument, we will forever not fix things. And Donald Trump, I do agree with you, is fixing things legally. He's being accused of the things.
You guys are retarded. If Kamala Harris would have won, you would have been having
I'm not talking about Kamala Harris. Everyone agrees that Donald Trump is following the law. We know that the judges are lawless. We know that Congress is derelict of duty because they have every right to get rid of those judges who are lawless. We understand that. And we understand that Donald Trump's hands are tied. He can only do so much as a chief executive. We understand that. All we're saying is that why does Pam Bondi not fight like Donald Trump?
Well, I'll answer that. Because you guys are so young, you don't remember. We already lived this. Ronald Reagan said, stay the course. We went through the deep recession in 1981. He said, stay the course. And we came back. We barely won the midterms. We lost the midterms, as a matter of fact. Tim O'Neill, yes, we lost the midterms in 82. But the economy took off like nothing.
No.
Stay the course.
This is where you're wrong because you're going back to 1980. We only need to go back a little bit before Donald Trump became president the first time. He was a very successful TV personality, and he would say in his show, "You're fired. You're fired." And so he told everybody, and the reason he became president is because he was going to fire people that didn't do the job. And guess what? He's living up to his promise. Donald Trump is doing the right thing. But what I'm trying to tell you is I'm trying to tell you what these young people are thinking is that Donald Trump is promising a big game of you're fired, but he seems to always be firing low-level people. But the very top people that he should be firing, that everybody sees that should be fired, never get fired. Like, I'll give you an example. Tom Homan should not be fired. He should be doing a great job. There's a lot of people that are doing great jobs. All these people are saying, these influencers are saying, the young ones is, why is it that the key people that Donald Trump puts in never get fired, but the janitor gets fired? That's all they're saying. And they say, even Alex Jones is saying, I mean, come on, look, these people, why are you, but we're not saying that Donald Trump can fix everything, but it's so obvious to everybody that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are not doing their job. And in The Apprentice, Donald Trump would have no problem firing them. And so your argument is lame because you're going back to 1980. We're saying we want the Donald Trump that fires people for not performing. Donald Trump is performing, and all we're asking is that Pam Bondi perform at a level of Donald Trump. All we're asking is that Pam Bondi perform at a level of Tom Homan. That's all. It's not hard.
I'm telling you guys are Pollyannas because look, let's take the MTG, for example. And all you young people went like MTG and you threw your panties in a wad. And at the end of the day, we did get the Epstein files released. Everything. But she tried to blow up the conservative movement and MAGA. And it comes out, now she's making love to the Democrats and to The View and everything. So couldn't it be that the old saying is true, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer? Couldn't there be some other strategy before it? And as President of the United States, who took a bullet for the country, shouldn't we give him the benefit of the doubt that he has the right move?
Yeah.
And that he will get rid of her when the time comes? Hey, you know what? I'm on cruise control. I'm not like you guys. I'm not losing no sleep. Trump's going to turn it around. Put it on cruise control. Don't be like Tim Pool and Candace Owens and start shooting on your own side.
Yeah. And see, this is where your argument falls apart, because Jesus Christ didn't tell the 12 apostles, stay on cruise control. No, get shit done.
He said, pick up your cross and follow me.
Yes, but
their faith was in Christ, and that's what I'm saying.
But at the end of the day, Jesus and the apostles got shit done. That's all people are saying.
That's all I'm saying too. But you know what? Stay the course.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
Jesus didn't say, "Hey, go be a Muslim over there."
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, my only thing with Marjorie is that she talked a great game, but who in their right mind is works in the police department and says, "I'm going to defend children from child molesters," and then gives up their job? It's like, dude, you have a job that is so powerful that you can actually do something to fight child sex trafficking, and yet you're a proponent of child sex trafficking, and you talk a great game about helping the women, but yet you give up your job that can give you that power and leverage. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so, and you know what? There's things geopolitical behind the scenes that we're not privy of, but we see the superficial things. For example, the conflict in Venezuela. Venezuela is knee deep with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin, they say, even had planes over there and infrastructure that could strike the United States. But right now, he's on his own. If America is a chessboard, he has managed to move China and Russia out of there, out of the Panama Canal. I mean, these things are not all in a bubble. You're over here pissed off at Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. But can you see what we did in Panama? Can you see what we did in the Darien Gap? Can you see what we did in Guatemala? Can you see what we're doing in Nicaragua and El Salvador? I know, but all I'm saying is, hey, you pussies, keep your panties on. This is a game for big boys. You guys go watch your Netflix and let the big boys run the show.
Yeah, and nothing gets done.
Everything. Oh my gosh.
Nothing gets done because all you say is shut up, trust the plan. You're like Q. Shut up and trust the plan. Same thing.
No. See, this is the thing. We're not a democracy. We're an elected republic.
Yes.
Representative democracy. A representative republic. We elect people. And you have to have faith in your election that these men are going to do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
They're elected officials. We're not going to be over there nitpicking. It's going to do more damage. What customer goes to a steakhouse and goes nitpicks the chef? Sit down and wait for the steak to come. And if you don't like it, go ahead and complain to the waiter.
Yeah, those
but
lines
you guys don't want to walk into the kitchen.
No. Those lines of arguments
and see if they use tallow or butter.
Those lines of arguments don't make sense because Joseph Marciano says Trump should get rid of Lindsey Graham if he could, but he's pals with him. Here's the point: has nothing to do with Lindsey Graham. And I'll bring you the other one. Donald Trump. The stupidest thing he said in Thanksgiving was prices are down, and here's the thing. So two things about this point. One, Melania Trump should be going to Walmart and buying the groceries so she could report back to him. This is what Alex Jones and others are saying. Donald Trump is getting bad information, and the American people are yelling and screaming and saying, hey, Donald Trump, what the fuck is your problem? Why are you friends with Lindsey fucking Graham? And we're not going to listen to Jesse because Lindsey Graham is a fucking Satanist. I mean, he's fucking bad news. There's not a war that him and John McCain didn't participate in love and fund. So all everyone is saying is, Mr. President, we believe you, we voted for you, but son of a bitch, can you get the memo to Donald Trump that this son of a bitch, Lindsey Graham, I have to use this language, he got to go? Can someone please tell Donald Trump to get his beautiful wife over to Safeway and Publix and wherever and have her go grocery shopping? Shit, you're getting bad information. Mr. President, when it comes to things like, the average people, talk to your son, Barron. He'll give you a pulse of America. I don't think that's attacking Donald Trump. That's saying, hey, you're being given bad information, and your bad information is making you, one, look like a fool, and number two, making you make bad decisions.
Because we're an elected republic.
Mm-hmm.
We are not God. We are not God. We can only do the best we can. The best we can. And as human beings, we don't have the luxury to be God. So therefore, we have this elected republic,
Mm-hmm.
We have to work well with others. You can't just go chop off Lindsey Graham. He's an elected senator of the state of Georgia.
I know.
God damn, don't you guys have any pragmatism? Now, we can isolate him. We can work with him.
No, you can't. No, he is the cancer.
Jesse, I know, God
everyone
damn it.
Is telling
he's a constitutional cancer. He's
yes.
baked in. You guys bitch, but you can't get rid of him.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Donald Trump had a show called The Apprentice. He goes, you're fired.
You can't fire a senator.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Oh my God. How are you? Explain to me. I'll shut up. Explain how you get rid of Lindsey Graham.
You can. There's a guy running right now to replace him so you can primary him.
No, you said you're going to get rid of Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Get rid of him right now.
And then who would name the replacement senator?
The rhino and governor. Would you trust Kemp? I would trust Lindsey Graham if I trust Kemp.
Okay, then primary him. But Donald Trump goes and endorses him? That's what I'm saying.
No. You see, no, you guys are kindergartners. If you primary Lindsey Graham, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna go scorched earth. He's gonna do Katie Hobbs did to Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake won the Republican Party, and all the Republicans took that first grade analogy. They don't play well with others. They get their football and they go home. You primary Lindsey Graham. You know what that fucker is going to do to you? He's going to make sure a Democrat gets in to vote for your impeachment. It's called suicide. You have to have pragmatism. It's called politics.
No. That's the stupidest argument ever because you're talking that I need to play with Satan the devil. Everybody knows he's a warmonger. Everybody knows.
You have to be careful.
I have to be pragmatic with Satan. No,
Oh, no. You know what? You have to be careful because now Jesus says, woe to the one who calls his brother that.
Jesse, how many people have to die? He calls, what does he call Vladimir Zelensky? He goes, about time we have a guy like Zelensky. Dude, the guy's foaming at the mouth with the people dying. Young kids are hiding.
Why are you preaching to the choir? I'm saying you can't get rid of this fucker. He's in.
No, he has to be voted out. This is the process. We have a process to get rid of him. Donald Trump.
What I'm telling you is politics is corrupt. Politics is corrupt. You're the Pollyanna. You think it's really easy to get rid of cancer. It's not.
You think that you can dance with the devil. That's where you're sadly mistaken.
No, I say you can live with this cancer.
No, you can't. There is no, it's only right or wrong.
It's called the United States Constitution. We have to, it's baked in.
He has to go.
I know that, but you can't. You got lemons, make lemonade.
Oh, no. We can make nuclear weapons. We can send men to the moon, but we can't get rid of Lindsey Graham.
No, you can't get rid of him. You can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the modesty of Nixon. At least Nixon was able to just step aside. Lindsey Graham won't. How many times have you seen senators and United States justices from the Supreme Court die in the bench? Lindsey Graham is going to die in his seat. He has no modesty.
Look, Lindsey Graham is not married, has no kids, and everybody knows that he goes to those parties. You mean to tell me that the United States government listens to every damn thing I say, but doesn't know that Lindsey Graham hasn't done any kind? Oh, come on, man. What I'm saying is this. No. You can't dance with the devil. And this is where you're losing Nick Fuentes people. This is where you're losing everybody. This is why they call you a boomer. I'm telling you, I'm a boomer, whatever generation we're from. This is what's happening in 2026. The young kids look at you like a boomer and say,
but they haven't built shit.
I know
they
that.
have no equity.
I agree with you, but the equity is overrated. Now you're saying that a house is worth $400,000, but it's not. It's just funny money in the New York stock. It's just all make believe. It's not.
Listen, this is what I'm going to tell you.
So the young kids have
what I'm telling you about the young generation. Let me tell you something about the young generation. Right. You disrespect the boomers. You disrespect. Wait till it happens to you. Wait a second. Let me finish. You know what's going to happen? You'll get rid of Trump. You'll impeach Trump. You'll get rid of Lindsey Graham pretty soon. They're up in age. But when you get a Nick Fuentes who looks up to Stalin and Hitler, you'll never get rid of him.
I agree with you. But don't tell me, don't preach to me about the boomers.
I'm not preaching to you about the boomers. There has to be pragmatism. Look, when John F. Kennedy was dealing with when John F. Kennedy, the leader of the Democrat Party in 1961-62, when he's dealing with the Cuban Missile Crisis, who does he call?
I don't know.
He gets on the phone. Look it up on YouTube. See who he calls on the phone. Does he call a member of the Democrat Party? Does he call the party Democrat president? No. He calls Dwight David Eisenhower. He calls General, sir. He goes, I want to keep you informed with the latest developments. And he goes over everything with him. That's called respect, crossing the aisles. That's politics right there. And in politics, sometimes it's dirty. You have to do those things. But Lindsey Graham is an elected senator. Have some respect for the United States form of government.
No.
Until we take him out, or where you sit down with some prominent men, you take the young people and you go visit him and tell him.
No. When your elders have done this, the boomers, the young kids have given up.
You know what? Oh, no. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not. Okay, you said, Jesse, you're a boomer. Okay. Don't lay this shit on me, Ricky Bobby.
No, I know it's not your fault, but I'm trying to tell you.
Gilbert, why don't you say that I'm an insurrectionist? You're going to put $27 trillion on my ass?
39. What I'm trying to tell you is that this is what the young people think of the older people.
Well, fuck the younger people. If they're going to say that I put $39 trillion of debt on them.
You didn't, but it still doesn't change the fact that generation.
They probably don't even get a W-2, and I paid one since I was 24.
Know, but the Lindsey Grahams are responsible for this.
Lindsey Graham's not responsible for that. He wasn't even born probably when that was put up. He wasn't born during Jekyll Island. Maybe he wasn't even born during the when Social Security came in.
But I'm telling you the argument of these.
Well, they're wrong. Just because you're 27 makes you right? Just because their argument of the young people means I have to accept it? Just because he thinks Hitler is cool, he thinks we're going to lie down and accept what they say? No. What I'm telling you is there's some people my age that we're going to die with our beliefs. They can pry my gun from my cold, dead hands.
No, but but see, Jesse, everything is sentimental and with you and everything.
Why? Because I'm right and you're wrong. That's
no,
why.
no. There's only
and
one.
When you're right, you have to die right. You don't die left.
No, Jesse. One thing is right: is numbers are right, and
$39 trillion, and you blamed it on the boomers, on me. You said, Jesse, you're a boomer. You know why they're mad? Because of
no, maybe at the Lindsey Grahams. I'm saying that the young people the chickens have come home to roost. The young people have a point. I'm not saying that they're right, and they're going to be easily manipulated. And I agree with you. The young people will latch onto the Nick Fuenteses, and then they'll get screwed when Nick Fuentes abandons them, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nick Fuentes is already abandoning them, saying, I don't even want to be a politician. Well, if you don't want to be a politician, then what the hell are you doing? He doesn't want to go to work and fix the problem. So I agree with you. The Nick Fuenteses are going to use the young people, rile them up, and then he's gonna jump ship because he's already doing it now. He refuses to get involved. This is the difference between Nick Fuentes and PBD. PBD is going to be coming out with it pretty soon, where he's pretty much making everybody in his administration like run for city council, run for schools, like he's making everybody like be, like, hey, we need to give back now. And so that's PBD, Patrick Bet-David is doing great in that aspect. Whereas in Nick Fuentes, I agree with you. He's going to rile up the youth for what? To hand it over to whoever, and he's already going to backstab them. Why? Because he's doing it now. Because he's not using his influence to make real change. He's complaining like a woman, right? A high school girl complaining, but he's not actually producing significant, real results. And other people that are up and coming, like the Patrick Bet-Davids are. They're saying we got to do more than just complain. So I do agree with you on these things, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, but you don't, because look, you guys call me an idealist. You guys call me a dreamer. But look, let me tell you something. Let's be idealists. I wish we were ideally as good as the Democrats. They get lowlife, rapists, murderers, linchpins, you name it in the Democrat Party, and they're promoted. We got a bad guy, and we kill each other over it. We take out George Santos. Why don't we advance the ball like the Democrats and forget about personalities for a while?
And Donald Trump has said that. Donald Trump has said that many times. Why is it that they stick together? So is Geronimo an idealist? That's the question. You said it yourself.
Well, yeah, because my idea is correct. So I'm an idealist. I'm a realist. You guys live in a fantasy world. Mm-hmm. You guys are like the Democrats, Well, no, you're not even like the Democrats. You guys are worse. You guys want to chop off everybody's head. I just don't understand that. Even the weather gets blamed on Republicans. Like in Hurricane Katrina, they blamed it on the Republicans. A hurricane. I could never understand that. I remember when Bill Clinton was president, they didn't blame him for Hurricane Andrew. But there's an earthquake on the Republican, they blame it on him. Look at California, LA burns. Nobody blames it on the mayor. Nobody blames it on the governor. If it would have been Arnold Schwarzenegger, they would have already had his head. If Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor right now of California, he would have been toast. But you get a Nick Fuentes looking governor over there, guy who wears real pretty suits, you can get away with murder. Yeah, but I don't see this fascination about getting rid of Lindsey Graham. I never liked Lindsey Graham. Nobody in the conservative movement liked Lindsey Graham. But there's nothing we could do. For some reason, he keeps winning in Georgia.
Like McCain. But yeah, so we went off topic, but that was the thing. They never get disfellowshipped, and that's how you're going to find out who is the deep state actors. The ones that never, ever get disfellowshipped. The people that get promotions, they do worse. And they like Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom gets a promotion. The mayor of LA gets a promotion. That's how you know they're deep state. And that's what we learned from the Jehovah's Witnesses. Wow.
Yeah, I know that, the rigged elections. But you know what, Gilbert? Let me tell you something about rigged elections.
And Donald Trump is the only one doing anything about rigged elections with
That's what I was going to say.
with the pillow guy. With the pillow guy.
Listen, every American citizen, we're all compromised. Every American citizen. Look at Carrie Lake. Nobody knows more about rigged elections. And even Republicans in Arizona called her all kinds of vile names, her own party. If you start talking about rigged elections, you're going to be crucified by your Democrat brothers and sisters. 50% of the population is already going to hurt you. You take a lawsuit, every judge is going to throw it out. And then even Republican sheriffs are going to say, I didn't see nothing. So you have to be like Donald Trump. This is why I try to tell people, why don't we give him the benefit? You guys go, oh, Jesse, you think he's Jesus Christ? You want to have faith in him? No. This is all I'm saying. As an American citizen, we've already proved it to ourselves that we can't do nothing about rigged election. The only thing we could do is what Donald Trump did. He got his ass on a plane and he went all over the 50 states and campaigned. He did what Charlie Kirk did. He got his ass and he went to all the colleges and he took a bullet for you and I. So let's have a little bit, let's give these men the benefit of the doubt. You know, there was a time when a young man, he went overseas and he took a bullet. He would come back as a hero. And you call him an idealist? No, yeah, it was an idea we had. It was a more classical time. He died a hero. And even our song said it. Billy, don't be a hero. Come back and make me your wife. No, but Billy wanted to go and fight for his country. That was the generation me, boomer. I'm a boomer. Yes, I'm an idealist. And that's why it's not good to put your money against a boomer. Because we've already kicked ass and taken names. These young kids haven't done that. They haven't built nothing. We've kicked ass and taken names.
I'm not arguing with you on that. But it goes back to what Julian Watson said earlier. You're kicking the can down the road. And that's what people don't want.
Wow. Kicking the can. We're fighting for every inch.
I know.
Game. We're fighting for
everybody is. Everybody knows.
You guys want to commit suicide and throw a Hail Mary every game.
No.
But you're not the coach.
Okay, I'll say Alex Jones says, I call balls and strikes. And you know what? If somebody calls a strike or a ball on Donald Trump, you're there and you're saying you're just like Leslie Nielsen, the referee, just all the wrong shots. If Donald Trump does something wrong, call a strike, call a ball. Doesn't mean you're not supporting him, but a lot of people view that as kissing ass. Call a strike, a spade, a ball, a ball.
What we Donald do. Every American citizen does that.
Mm-hmm.
Every American citizen does that.
That's all. And that's how you'll know who's part of the deep state. The deep state always talk the same. And who are the people that are not deep state? Well, the people that get disfellowship, the people that that speak out. Look, say what you say about Alex Jones. I don't believe he's deep state because he just says what he says what he says. He brings the receipts. Does he criticize Donald Trump? Hell yeah. Is he 100% behind him? Is he like you? Absolutely. I think both things can coexist. I hate to use that word, but I think you can. And I think Donald Trump respects that. If you go to Donald Trump and you present the evidence, he'll listen to you. He may not do what you say. He may agree with you, but he may go a different direction. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. The stupidest thing I think Donald Trump did recently was get rid of the penny because it cost 3 cents to make. I would have told Donald Trump, that's the dumbest thing to do. Make the penny great again. Don't debase our currency. But for whatever reason, he saw the big picture. He made a decision. He's a chief executive, whatever. I'm not gonna crucify him. I'll say, hey, he's wrong on this one. He debased the currency, and hopefully we won't do that to the nickel. But am I going to lose? Am I going to not support him? No, absolutely not. Of course I'd support him. Would I give up my job as a House of Representative like Marjorie Taylor Greene? Hell no, I wouldn't. I'd give him my vote. But I'd give him my vote begrudgingly. I'd yell and scream, but I still give him my vote.
Look, during COVID, I didn't take the shot. Nobody in my family, my immediate family did. We didn't participate. I didn't wear a mask. I didn't lock down. I did everything. Everything contrary to the public, what they were saying to do. but I see Donald Trump taking the vaccine. Do I go act like Nick Fuentes on him? Do I go act like Marjorie Taylor Greene? I vehemently disagree with him. But I shut my pie hole and I give him, he takes the vaccine and he talks about it. And I go, could there something be more here? Is there more than meets the eye? And so I don't want to speak prematurely because living in Yuma, 2,800 miles away from Washington, D.C., maybe inside those rooms, they know something more than I don't. Maybe they're playing 3D chess. I don't know what they're doing. But the guy did get on a plane and campaign, and he did win the 2024 election. You know, in 1974, we had a show called Happy Days. And the great eminent speaker of the day was Adlai Stevenson. And in Milwaukee, they had this young guy named Richie Cunningham, and he's giving a speech. And his dad and his mom are out there listening to him, and he's giving his communist Democrat speech. And then the guy goes, and now the Republican speaker, and everybody claps. And then Marion and Mr. Cunningham looks at Marion and he goes, look, Marion, now we're going to hear a real speech. The Fonz goes up there and he goes, hey, he goes, I like Ike. My bike likes Ike. And then he goes, if you don't vote for Ike, the Fonz is going to be really mad. He won the war for you. And everybody clapped. And he goes, free hot dogs and Pepsi at the Eisenhower booth. And all the kids go over there. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, hey, look at all the good things Trump has done. Can we be a team player for once? We've already tried being a disorganized team. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if you try to be a team player? Can't we give the guy a little bit? Look, you have Chuck Schumer, Ilhan Omar. You have all the Democrats working hand in hand in harmony to destroy you. Wouldn't it be good that if we could go behind closed doors and fight and come out and give a united front? Because the game is called politics. The game is a dirty game. It's called fucking politics. What I'm saying, you Jehovah's Witnesses, you guys never were allowed to study politics. It's a dirty sport. You guys are kindergartners. Sometimes you got to do dirty things. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. You got to be cruel to be kind. You got to make deals.
Does Geronimo sound like a JW elder? You know, let's all have a united front and we'll fight behind closed doors. See, that's just people, you know, I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm just saying, you know, everybody's lived the cult life. Everybody here has lived the cult life. And
then, okay, let's just one because it's late. Let's talk about the Department of Justice. What's her name? The beautiful lady, Pam Bondi. Tell me about Pam Bondi. Why do you want to get rid of her? What has she done? Name me something wrong that she's done. Pam Bondi.
Okay. You want to start with the JFK file, the Martin Luther King or the Epstein? And then
has she released the JFK?
Not the full files, but here's the thing.
Do you know it's her who's holding it back?
No, but here's the thing. If you're a chief executive officer of any corporation, the chief executive officer can go on Zoom and everybody and says, I want this in my office by Monday morning. And then he starts going down everybody down that list. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. So what we're saying is, why can't Donald Trump tell Pam Bondi, everybody on that list, everybody on the Department of Justice chain of command, just start tell everybody, if I don't get this by Monday morning, you're all fired.
Okay. Can I respond to that question directly?
The military does that. The military does it. You don't think when Donald Trump gives an order that there's a list of people that order goes down? If they'll fire everybody down that line. All I'm saying is that all I'm saying is, and everyone's saying it right now. Like, I'll give you an example. Pam Bondi, and let's go with Tom Homan. Perfect example. Why in the hell does Tom Homan go to a meat processing plant and arrest 100 illegal aliens, or the South Korean battery plant and arrest 100 South Korean illegal aliens? but not one fucking CEO, not one fucking chief financial officer, and not one human resource person goes to jail. This is what the young people are saying, Jesse. Pam Bondi wants to arrest a Mexican. Listen, if you all the Mexicans will say yes, Pam Bondi, because not only did you arrest Juan, you also arrested John Smith, the chief financial officer of
your argument,
plant that was hiring 14-year-old illegals.
Your passion is going to bring communism to the United States.
Oh, shit.
Because the pendulum always swings back and swings back viciously. Listen, all the lessons of history tells us the pendulum always swings.
No.
If what was argued today before the United States Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch and another lawsuit, they were fighting over Donald Trump's powers in the executive branch. And even Ketanji Brown couldn't understand the executive branches. Every day, the Department of Justice, maybe they don't have enough attorneys to handle all the cases. And some of the attorneys are being sued constantly. What I'm saying is you guys want to go out into battle. You don't even want to wait till your soldiers have guns.
No, we're telling you, you're going into battle and you're arresting Juan, but you won't arrest the chief financial officer that knows that the 14-year-old kid is working in the factory, and the human resource director doesn't go to jail. All I'm saying is this: if you were to arrest the chief financial officer, CEO, and the human resources people, just 3 people, just arrest 3 people at the meatpacking plant and let all of the Mexicans go free, that would send a shockwave. But no, you're wrong, because that analogy of us of saying that we're going to go communism, you're 100%.
You are.
So
you guys are going to bring communism.
How dare you?
I have evidence. I have evidence.
How dare you? Evidence, Jesse, evidence. You arrest 100 Mexicans at a meatpacking plant.
Miami. You got a communist mayor now.
That has nothing to do with it. Listen, 100 Mexicans at a meatpacking plant, some of them 14-year-old kids, get injured as well. And you can't arrest the CEO?
No, can't do it. You can't do it.
Now you know why
this
is gaining popularity.
You can't. Look at what happened with the not Jack Smith, but the Department of Justice, the FBI guy under Mueller, the one that they and Letitia James and the who was the FBI guy, James Comey. What happened to James Comey's cases?
They
Gilbert, do you understand what I'm fucking saying? Well, you see, Donald Trump could arrest every fucking arsonist, every fucking murderer in the country. The Democrats will let him go.
So what? So what? At least the illegal aliens will say, hey, Donald Trump is at least trying to arrest the CEOs before he arrests Juan and Maria, the janitor. You got Mexicans hiding in pallets, in boxes, and ICE comes in. But the chief financial officer and the human resource director does not go to jail.
Yeah, it happens in California all the time. You hear it on TV. You see these guys in San Luis in Mexico City.
Yes,
they're being
this
deported.
Is why the young people are so upset. That's the subject.
But the owner of the business was never fined. How the fuck was he hiring illegals?
I know. That's what people are saying. And we're saying is that's what you asked the question about Pam Bondi.
Gilbert, when Ketanji Brown, the United States Supreme Court, doesn't understand the executive branch's right to fire people, what do you think of all the inferior judges in all the district courts? It doesn't matter what the executive branch does. These judges have been put in place to throw out everything that you're talking about.
No, you're wrong. Listen. Look. I'm Donald Trump, and I'll say, America, our good friend Elon Musk has just uncovered millions of people receiving Social Security that are over 120 years of age. As president of the United States, I am demanding Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase Manhattan Bank to give me the ATM videotapes of all of the ATM withdrawals that came out of the account of 200-year-old American citizens receiving Social Security benefits. And we will make those videos public, and the American people will help identify the people that were taking money out of an ATM. And if Bank of America, And if Wells Fargo, Chase do not comply, I have ordered my stop assent right next to me and the FBI and the marshals to arrest the CEOs for money laundering. And we will start having, we're going to have a YouTube channel, and Wells Fargo, B of A are going to be giving us the video evidence. How hard is that? How hard is that? This is what young people are saying. And you're saying, no, it can't be done. Well, we can send a man on the moon.
Well, hold on.
We can bomb Ukraine and say that we didn't do it and funnel money all over the place, but we can't get one ATM video of a 200-year-old American withdrawing money from the Social Security system.
Have you ever run 50 employees?
That has nothing to do with Social Security.
Follow me.
Go ahead.
Follow me.
I haven't.
Anybody who's built an organization, anybody who's made men, and this is why I always went back to the young generation who hasn't built anything. I sound like Bob Dole in the 96 campaign when he told Jeff Stephanopoulos. It's a generation who never had to build anything, never had to sacrifice, telling the generations that had to sacrifice how to run things. That's what's happening right now. Do you think that Donald Trump could throw a fit? He'll tell his Department of Justice, things are not going to get done. Therein lies the deep state. It's everywhere. If you won't do the Pledge of Allegiance, how are you going to follow the president's orders? You had a senator the other day who told soldiers to disobey. Do you know what's going to happen in the battlefield in the coming years? Okay. This is what I'm saying. It's going to get worse until you change the hearts of men. It doesn't matter what the president says.
Of course, you have a bully pulpit, Jesse. The president
it won't work. You know what the FBI agent? You meet with the FBI agents. You know what the FBI agent who's a Democrat at heart? Maybe he's transgender or one of them puppy lovers. Mm-hmm. You know what he's going to say when he leaves the meeting? Fuck him. That's what he's going to say. That's why I prefaced it. Have you run men? I run men all the time in my business. When I have a meeting and we have a sales meeting or anything, the first thing that they say is, fuck Jesse. That's what's happening right now. I'm telling you, in every business, every organization, and every church, Jesus builds a church. You know what the pastors are saying right now in the churches? Fuck them. I'm a transgender.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know.
It's happening everywhere. Until you bring back love of country, you can't fix this shit.
Yes, you can. You do it one at a time. Jesse, the argument I gave about the Social Security and the SNAP benefits, and if Walmart does not arrest you for stealing at their store because they're waiting for you to steal $1,000 and everybody's stealing. The moment you stole the $1,000 because they have a video file on you, then you get a felony charge and then you go to jail for a long period of time. But here's the point. If Walmart can track its robbers and says, okay, Juan is coming back today and he's at 400, and so if Walmart can do that, you mean to tell me not one Social Security ATM card was found with the cash withdrawals of the 200-year-old American citizen, and there's millions of them that Elon Musk found? We can't start somewhere. I'll give you another example. You mean to tell me that Donald Trump can say, I got the retired CEO of the United States Post Office, FedEx, and we have a problem here. For the last 20 years, the post office has been losing money, costing us a lot. By executive order, we are firing 10% of the top, just cutting all the fat at the top. You guys had 10 years to fix this. Any corporation, the board of directors would have fired everybody, but not our government, not Donald Trump, who famously says you're fired. In Donald Trump's organization, he would fire the whole top staff, bring in a new crew. Donald Trump brings in great people, but guess what? Yeah, the deep state stays in. All I'm saying is that Donald Trump has all of the opportunities to use the bully pulpit to sell to the American people we're making change. Do I agree with you? Yeah. But what I'm saying is these are the arguments that the young people are having all over YouTube, all over social media. They want to see a lot of action. They know Donald Trump's bringing action. Look, God bless Donald Trump because he brought the right to try. He put it that right there. He saved thousands of lives. The right to try. Yeah, Donald Trump gets real things done. There's real things done. But people have legitimate complaints, and those complaints are falling on deaf ears, and they're not falling on the ears of Donald Trump. That's all I'm saying. And you have to listen to Nick Fuentes. You have to listen to Tim Pool, Candace Owens, and everybody. You don't have to agree with them, but you have to do it to have a pulse on America. That's what I'm saying.
No, because now it could be jocularity, it could be sophomoric humor, but when you say that there's something redeemable in Adolf Hitler,
no,
I don't have to listen to him.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that they have a pulse on what's happening in America. I know I don't like, but I do listen to to Nick Fuentes because I know what they're thinking. I'm not gonna, and this is where Tucker Carlson is right on this one. He's listening to Nick Fuentes not because he agrees with them, but he wants to know what he's thinking. Same thing with Vladimir Putin. He didn't interview Vladimir Putin because he liked him. He wanted to know what the guy was thinking. He wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. And it would be stupid not to. It would be stupid not to listen. Like what is it? What is it? Because there's something more to the Nazi thing. And I agree with you on Nick Fuentes. At the end of the day, he's going to abandon you and leave you to his handlers.
Look, I like Glenn Beck and I like Tucker Carlson. I like them.
I like them.
But here's the thing. They're intellectuals. And they're very intelligent individuals. But they got to the game 4 years late. They weren't there with us in 2016. And I was talking about these men who are wise white men, privileged men. How did they not see America like I did? I'm not intellectual like they are. I didn't go to college. I don't have the degree that they have, the background. I don't have the privileged life that they have. How could they not see the sincerity there was in Donald Trump? Why did it take them 4 years? Yeah.
Why do all the plumbers, electricians?
I know, but at least give me the benefit of the doubt that he was working for Fox News at the time. And so I have a little bit of reservation towards Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
He was a journalist after all. He doesn't come from the cleanest of professions.
When Donald Trump was first running for president, and I saw that even illegal aliens liked him. They knew that they might get deported, but they knew the guy, they liked him. They respected him.
But Glenn Beck didn't, and Tucker didn't.
Those guys didn't. I know that. And that I don't understand why. Maybe because they live in elite circles.
And where was Nick Fuentes then?
Well,
he was probably only a 17-year-old. So, okay, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, he was a young kid.
Yeah, but going back to Nick Fuentes, he says he doesn't want to be a politician. Then what the hell are you doing? And this is where I have to give credit to Patrick Bet-David, because he's talking about how you can't just have a platform like they're doing and not actually give back.
Well, see, I disagree. I disagree. I think that they have every right. They have every right to give their opinion, because there's nothing wrong in not wanting to serve. Patrick is wrong, because there is a profession in the United States of just giving your opinion. We used to have the newspaper, and it had the opinion page.
Yeah.
So we've always had just an opinion, and Nick Fuentes can live there. My only problem is with him is that he looks favorably to Stalin and Lenin, and us boomers, we don't accept that. He's crossed the line. Ronald Reagan says there is a line that our elected officials must not cross. And I know Nick Fuentes is not an elected official, but to me, in my eyes and my experience in America, when you say that there's something redeemable in Adolf Hitler or Stalin, no, I can't build on that. I'm not going to be John McCain and reach across the aisle here.
No, I know. I view Nick Fuentes differently. I know, because I've experienced it as a Jehovah's Witness. He'll pull the rug from underneath you. So no, he's not a guy you could build a foundation with. That's all. Do I hate him? No, he's at the end of the day, when you need him the most, he's not going to be there. Listen, you can hate Alex Jones, but at the end of the day, if duty calls, 6 a.m, sun comes up, Alex Jones will be there, rise and shine. And one of the things that Nick Fuentes is famous for is that he always shows up late to his podcast. Here's a guy who has one job to do a podcast, and he shows up late. Alex Jones at least shows up on time, before. So yeah, and you say, well, that doesn't mean anything. Yes, it does, Because at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan and duty calls, Nick Fuentes is still going to be asleep. That's why I don't like those young kids. I can't put my trust, and so, but I agree with you too with the Nazi thing. It'll be like a Jehovah's Witness still saying great things about the governing body. It's like, dude, if you're still saying good things about the governing body, you're full of shit. And it's like Nick Fuentes, you're saying good things about Hitler, dude, you're full of shit. Yeah. And there's a lot of people like that. A lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses still love the governing body. Like, yeah, you're full of shit.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that the deep state is so big that until we bring back love of country, and you know what, that's another show for another day. But John F. Kennedy said, "Ask not what your country could do for you. Ask what you could do for your country." Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Until we bring back the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, indivisible, with liberty and freedom. Well, how does it go?
With liberty and justice.
And with liberty and justice for all. It's late. But I screwed up the Pledge of Allegiance. But with the Pledge of Allegiance, until we bring that back into our communities, until we bring back love and civics, I don't think the deep state will start diminishing, because in essence, there's got to be a lot of little Donald Trumps in every walk of life. There's got to be a lot less deep staters in every church. Satan has his deep churchers. In every department of government, the deep staters are running. You know, when we were kids, we used to have a cartoon called the Gremlins, and it was on Bugs Bunny. And people used to think that the Russians had these little monsters, the Gremlins, and they would sabotage the American infrastructure. And that's what the deep state is like to me. They sabotage the American. So if you have somebody who loves his country, his subordinates will put a wrench in the system. It's kind of like we used to do, the kulaks and the business owners and the landowners during the Russian Revolution. The Russians confiscated all the wealth, all the factories, all the farms, and the kulaks were being killed and everything taken away. So they invented this term called put a wrench in it. That means you put a wrench in the gears of the machinery. You give it to the man. And that's what our communist and Democrat brothers are doing to America. They're putting a wrench in everything. If you want to fix the postal system, somebody will do a lawsuit to put a wrench in it. It's happening in every walk of life. Even our Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown doesn't understand that the executive reigns supreme about firing people. So when you talk about Donald Trump firing people, even that is being questioned by our Democrat brothers and sisters.
And Congress can fire too, because the court systems that are being corrupt right now, the Senate and the House of Representatives can immediately make it disappear, like gone. They can just say district number so and so ceases to exist. There's no more money. The very next day, the building will be.
But here's what I
would people don't know that. No, people don't know that the Speaker Johnson and the head of the Republican Party, what's his name, Thune, they have the power, but they don't want the people to know that they could do that overnight.
Here's another thing. I would invite all your comment sections to go read or go listen to the transcript of the United States Supreme Court today with Neil Gorsuch.
I saw that.
And the back and forth with the attorney over executive rights in the executive branch. It's very powerful. This guy doesn't have the mental capacity. Neil Gorsuch, under cross-examination, asking him, he wouldn't surrender the fact that Trump has power over firing people in the executive branch.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to just say, because she, she's a Democrat, but why would I show up to take in the ones that you claimed are more responsible? I agree with you. Yes, Stephen Miller wants 3,000 undocumented brought in daily. A lot of it has to do with optics. These people like Donald Trump and people, they all, and the news, it's all optics. But at the end of the day, this is what the arguments that a lot of people are saying. Even the Alex Jones and others are saying, hey, why can't common sense solutions reign supreme? Why can't we just like everyone, Alex Jones has said this so many times, and everybody has said it. Just chop off the head of the snake. The snake is dead. But they don't. But they never fire. They never put the CEO in jail. They never put the CFO in jail. They never put the human resources in jail. And so the 3,000 people that Stephen Miller wants to see is just is optics. People are saying, "Yeah, okay, you're doing your job, but optics. It's optics. We don't want optics. We want real solutions." And if you just trust the CEOs, word gets out, the CEOs obey the law, problem is solved. Like 70% of the job is done. So this is why people are scratching their head, because common sense is it doesn't. We're not seeing real common sense in our.
But you know what? Here you know what? Something also helped it. Everybody says the Democrats and the Republicans are all the same, and not necessarily. Let me just show you. In Arizona, for example, you have a Democrat governor in California and in Arizona too. But traditionally, Arizona has been a Republican stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
And agriculture is real big.
Yeah.
And I have family members that work in agriculture, and they recruit Mexican or Central American laborers, and they contract them, and they work their ass off to recruit it, to pick the lettuce, to pick everything. And in Arizona, they do things legally. They got with the Department of Agriculture. And right now, if you go into our hometown, Yuma, you'll see the agriculture is working and walking everywhere. You see blacks, whites, Latinos, everybody hangs around great. You don't see gangbangers. You don't see none of that stuff you see in big cities.
Phoenix. That's Phoenix.
But these people, the agricultural people, generations ago, they did things right. They lobbied Washington. They developed an agricultural system to get visas for that. Now, here's the thing. In the 60s, it used to be all the Yuma kids used to work in the agriculture. There was no Mexican imported labor. But somehow the Americans got away from it.
No, you know how they did that? That happened in 1980. That happened in 1987. That happened in 1985. You know what happened in 1985? And it was Ronald Reagan's fault. Because
Amnesty? The Simpson Mazzoli?
No. They started giving free books in high school. So in 1985, when they were giving free books in high school, the kids didn't have to work in the summer. So here you have a problem. In the 1970s and early 80s, all of the kids had summer jobs. And that's why they had summer vacation, because of the harvest. And then the government comes along thinking, hey, we're going to be nice and let the kids not pay for their books. And then if you took care of your books, you can get like about 70%, 60% of your money back at the end of the year. So, everybody took care of their books, and then it got recycled. So now they give you stupid books because you go to high school and you don't know calculus when you're a senior. You don't even know how to do long division, when you're a senior. You don't even know how to multiply when you're a senior. But before, in order to, to graduate, you had to, learn calculus or something like that, right? But you bought your books. So what happened? The kid went to work in the summer. He paid for his books, and guess what? He paid for his books. He's going to read them. He's going to get an education. But the government stepped in, Jesse and Yuma. They got rid of the books that you had to pay for. They gave it to you for free. The Mexicans come in. The kids don't work. That's what happened.
Yeah, it changed the culture. There was a culture. And there was a cultural shift away from manual labor.
That was wrong. It should have never happened. If you really want to help kids out, make them pay for their own books. If they don't like it, tell them to go door to door, sell candy.
Mm-hmm. The nobility and the good gracious of the American welfare system is so great that it breeds not wanting to work, and it takes away hunger. And so what's happened in the American system, but what's happened now is that the illegal aliens entering, they enter into the welfare system, where in previous generations, they couldn't get no benefits for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever the case may be. That changed. And so now you get a generation, an influx of people, they're making more money than any citizen is making. Yeah.
Correct. And also a lot of big companies, they do a blind eye. They know, as a business owner, the amount of labor you need to accomplish a certain job. So what's happening with the 1099 forms is they're subcontracting everything, and they're saying you take care of it. Here's this check, but they know instinctively that down the line they're going to be paying a lot of people with envelopes. So almost everybody that's had jobs in the big cities, people get paid with envelopes and cash. And these are from big corporations, Jesse, but they hide it under the 1099 clause by just hiring, like, and Amazon is the biggest.
See, this is why you call me an idealist, because if you love your country, I've always said this. If you love America, you're not going to fuck America.
I know.
So when you pay cash, you're effing America. You're not paying into Social Security. You're not paying into workman's compensation. You're having a disadvantage to employers who do. So this is what I'm saying. Until we bring back love for America. Try to remember 50 years ago when we went to the bicentennial. We had a love of America, even in our songs. Today, our songs talk about trashing America. We're not going to make headwinds until we bring back love of country.
See, this is where I disagree with you, because you're not going to do it. My way's better. Because in the Bible story of Moses with Achan paid the price because he stole the money, and then everybody died when they went to I forget that city. I think it's AI or something like that. So they went, they died, and then finally, I remember because he stole from Jericho. He stole from them. So the point is this: when they finally killed Achan for what he did, guess what? The word got out, and everybody started loving their country. So all I'm saying is, if you want to teach Americans to love their country, you need to arrest the CEO of Amazon for tax evasion and all of the people underneath them for monopoly practices. And the one who says it the best is I hate to say it, but the guy that's the Teamsters Union for the United States Post, the UPS, but he states it eloquently. And that's, I don't like the union guys, but on this one, they're right. They're right on the money. Look, you have UPS, the post office, FedEx. They all wear company uniforms, deliver company packages, and they only deliver one package everywhere. Amazon does the exact same thing. Amazon truck, Amazon uniform, Amazon boxes, but it's all 1099 all down the road. And so what happens is a tax evasion. They're letting somebody else deal with it. But why is it that 3 major corporations obey the law, but one doesn't, and and they're allowed to do that? You arrest all of those people at the top, people will start loving their country because shit rolls downhill. Love rolls downhill just like shit rolls downhill. You start making all of the CEOs accountable, well, guess what? It'll all go downhill. That's what I'm saying. Pam Bondi needs to stop arresting Juan and Maria, the janitors, and the Mexicans that are hiding in pallets, and go after the big wigs, and things will change. And that's all people are saying. They're mad. They're mad as hell. And they don't see why a simple problem. It's a simple problem. I agree with you with love. But hey, arrest the people at the top. You'll start seeing love real quick. Because love, like shit, rolls downhill, in my opinion.
Yeah. That was a long one.
Well, shit, 2 hours.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I want to apologize. Sorry, I had to make a correction on you. And I know you are the governing body.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just the governing body helper. And I had to exercise my...
Yeah. No, it's a good argument. I understand. I understand both sides. But yeah, these young kids, they're being influenced. But like it says at the title, be careful. Be careful of the people that never get disfellowshipped.
Hey, you probably have some new people who weren't here when you were doing the Jeopardy.
Oh, okay.
So you want to do a little teaser of what we're working on? And maybe, Alex, I'll go Babylon the Great for... let me see what you got. Okay, Alex, I'll do... Oh, you know what? That sounds fun. Let's go to Pornea, Alex, for 200. A Jehovah's Witness
sex toy.
A panda pillow? What is a panda pillow?
Pillow.
Okay. 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 What is pioneering for 200, Alex?
The real average hours a JDub spends in field service.
This is good. Ding, 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 ding. 5. What is 5?
We'll still give it to you.
Okay. Let's see if somebody in the comment sections wants one.
That's pagan for 200.
Okay, does everybody know that? For
A
200.
common pagan greeting during the winter solstice.
A common pagan greeting during winter solstice. A common. Oh, what is Merry Christmas? All right, 200. All right.
Okay.
That's pretty good. No, the chat section hasn't figured none out. How about the end for 200?
The end for 200. This is the 6,000 year of recorded human history.
That's easy. That's easy. Let's see. Somebody says Toni Morris. Okay. What is 1975, Alex?
That's good. How about pornea for 500?
Pornea for 500. Okay, hold on.
The best way to never get caught committing pornea.
I got it. What is Date the CEO's daughter? What is Never Kiss and Tell? Pretty close.
That's close. I'll give it to you. That was a good answer. Escape Babylon the Great for 500. This whore is guilty and drunk with the blood of the saints.
This whore is guilty. Who is the United Nations?
Ooh, no.
No. What is Watchtower? Oh.
That whore, yeah. Okay. That's pagan for 500.
Okay, that's pagan for.
Coincidentally, the day Charles Taze Russell died.
Oh, I got it. What is Halloween 1916?
Oh, 16? Ooh. Yeah, what is Halloween? Yeah. Pioneering for 500.
An ass kisser of biblical proportion. Hold on, this is going to be hard. An ass kisser of biblical proportion. So it's Revelation.
Hold on. Okay, let's go back. Pioneering for 300. A sure way of kissing the CEO's rear.
A sure way of kissing the what is take him out to lunch?
No. You have to sign up. A sure way of kissing the CEO's rear by signing up.
I don't know. What is it?
What is an auxiliary pioneer?
Oh, application.
Yeah. So a proven way to ruin your financial future.
Become a pioneer. What is become a pioneer? What is regular pioneering?
So what is pioneering for 500? An ass kisser of biblical proportions.
A regular pioneer.
No, that was the last one.
Oh. Let's see.
A special pioneer.
Pioneer. Oh my gosh. Is that how you write pioneer?
Yeah, pioneer. I think I wrote it wrong. Okay. Babylon the Great for 400.
The whore is
dressed in the same color as the JW's Nazi emblem.
What is Nick Fuentes?
Purple.
What is purple?
Babylon the Great for 300. This religion is never mentioned by Jehovah's Witnesses. This religion is never mentioned by Jehovah's Witnesses.
What is science?
Islam.
Oh, what is Islam? Close.
Babylon the Great for 200. This religion is hated by the JWs.
This religion. Oh, what is Catholicism, Alex?
Close. Christianity. Pornea for 400. This sexual practice made popular by Bill Clinton is now allowed in Jehovah's organization.
Okay, hold on. What is cigar soaking? Oh.
Yes, you are right. Pornea for 300. Doing this will give you a minimum 1 year disfellowshipping sentence.
Doing this will give you a minimum 1 year DF sentence. 1 year. 1 year. The reach around. What happens if you have sex before marriage? Yes.
If you have sex with somebody else during marriage, right? Adultery, about 6 months. The end.
For 300.
According to many JWs, this was going to be the last memorial.
Oh, okay. What is 2014, Alex?
All right. Got that
Was
one.
that the last time your sister talked to you?
Yeah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And what subject was it?
The end. I'll take the end for 400. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
What is 1925?
Let's see. Yep. That's pagan for 300. A pagan ritual usually performed at weddings that is no longer pagan.
A pagan ritual usually performed at weddings that is no longer pagan. What is the dollar dance?
Ooh, that was close. What is
toasting?
What is toasting? Last one. Daily double. Pagan bunnies, chocolates, and eggs. That's pagan? Pagan bunnies, chocolates, and eggs.
Okay. Hold on.
That's pagan.
It has to be. Let's see if the comment section is saying it.
Talmudic Luciferianism. No. Ready?
Easter.
Easter.
What is Easter?
There is it. 800.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what'd you think? Was that a cool game or what?
Yeah. Learned a lot.
Did you guys like the game? That was a pretty cool game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gilbert. So
all right, we'll see you later.
You gonna do a recap?
No. Because we're all dumb.
Slow. Naive. What else?
All that good. Yeah.
Oh, man, we were throwing some invectum, huh?
That was fun. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Maybe hold on. It says maybe you can tell us what school district was paying for the drag queens. Oh, you're asking. So, no, I don't know. Oh man, that's above my pay grade, man. Drag queens. I don't. That's. I know nothing. I don't know that. Yeah. All right, man. I'll see you later. End stream.